You're listening to the Multiverse Fancast, proud member of the Misfit Faction Media Network.
All right then, on with the show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Multiverse Fancast. Don't forget, you can take us on the go with Spotify, Stitcher, Apple Podcast, basically anywhere that you listen to podcasts. You can also find our website, themisfitfaction.com, where you'll see some articles written by Rob. We do have some up there from Paul as well, and then obviously links to our podcast, as well as one of our friends' podcasts as well, is up there now too. So give them a listen. You can also find us on all the social medias. Just type in the Misfit Faction or obviously the Multiverse Fancast. With me today, I have Paul. Paul, how are you doing?
I'm good, Ronnie. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. And sitting across from me is Rob. Rob, how are you?
Hello, everybody. I'm doing all right and glad to be here.
Awesome.
I looked across from you. I was like, who's here?
Where?
We are getting started. We're going to be talking about The Boys. So I know we did a few weeks ago, we talked about the first half or so of this season. Today we're just going to be doing a whole season review of this. So getting things started off, we'll do initial reactions, we'll take a little break, and then we'll go into just kind of like a plot and character list. So initial reaction to this season, Rob.
Wow.
Awesome. And moving on to...
Just fantastic. This show gets better with each episode. I am amazed with how deep the satire goes and how relevant it is to what's happening in our world. You know, not to get political, and don't worry, I won't. It just reflects it so accurately and just skewers it so hard. The characters are so great. I had the pleasure of watching the season, as I've mentioned, with my spouse, and she and I loved every second of it. There were times that really tested her stomach, but she just couldn't believe how great it was. And I told her, I said, if you want to go back and I'll rewatch seasons 1 and 2 with you.
Yeah.
So that's on the table with her. But what a great show. What a great time. I'm actually, as Paul said before the show started recording, he's kind of sad that this show isn't on anymore. And I am too. I don't, season 4 is way too far away.
Yes.
Homelander just rules in so many ways. And what a great time.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Paul?
I like it.
That's enthusiasm for
Oh,
you.
I wasn't sure.
Yay!
Yay! No, this show is probably, I will say it is one of the best superhero properties that's out there. I think it benefits from the fact that the comics weren't as well known. You know, they take a lot of liberties. It's very much The Walking Dead in terms of, well, this character's supposed to die in the comics, but they're not going to die in this. And when we talk spoilers and all that, like, we'll talk about some of the characters that do survive and the characters that don't. And this show gets better and better and better because I think we talked about it on one of our, probably the last episode we talked about The Boys, where a lot of shows, especially on Netflix, their first season is really like, look at all these things. And then their second season is, well, you already saw those things.
Yeah.
Rob and I watched Altered Carbon with my wife.
Oof.
And Rob warned us that the second season was really bad.
I'm like, just don't watch it.
And it's so weird watching the first season where there's like literally an army of naked clones fighting people and in all their glory.
Hot naked clones.
Yes. You got to be very specific. And then you watch the second season where like nobody does anything.
It's very PG-13.
Very PG-13. And the thing about The Boys is The Boys satirizes or satires everything.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what, if you're a Republican, Democrat, gay, straight, blue, white, yellow, I don't know, like anything. There's something in this show that you're going to watch going, huh.
Yeah.
All right.
It's very insightful and poignant.
And like Rob said he wasn't going to get political. We'll see as the show goes on, but there's a storyline in it with A-Train and a character named Blue Hawk where they respect all sides of that discussion. And for me, for somebody who's watching a show who I hate agendas, this is the perfect show for agendas because they don't just do one. It is everybody and everything. And it's just so...
Anyone can catch these hands.
Like, it's crazy that you watch this show and you have... Like, here's the best example. Mother's Milk, who his daughter is big into superheroes and has a superhero-themed party, and he's sitting there going, they're terrible people. And then, like, the stepdad gets so engulfed in that culture because he sees it like we see Marvel superheroes. So they're here to save us, and they're the best. but we as the audience are following the book. It's so well done.
I have a question. I know we're starting early with this, and because I want to see, is this just me viewing the show and what I'm getting out of it, or is this the case? I felt at times it was more anti-red than anti-blue.
I think too.
Yeah.
The only reason,
so, Ronnie?
the only reason I would say that is because they don't do the anti-blue stuff as obviously, like they're like obviously Vought News or whatever Homelander keeps going on is the Fox News parody.
Correct.
But there's no CNN parody.
Yeah,
so I
true.
think that's the only reason why. But
Because the obviously the Homelander rallies are meant to reflect the Trump rallies a little bit, and so I felt like they were more anti-red than anti-blue at times, and I think no one is safe. But I felt like they leaned a little bit more towards one side than
it's
another.
a lot like Family Guy, where as much as Family Guy makes fun of all sides, they tend to be a little bit more on the blue side than the red side. Yeah. But I think that for the most part, they do handle it well because it is reflective of the modern world. Where, like really, it isn't even like a red or blue; it's more of a media thing, and how the media feeds in. And no matter what side of the coin you land on in the real world, like everybody kind of agrees that the media is just. What's the old adage? What sells newspapers? Sex.
If it bleeds, it leads.
Yeah, sex, violence, and the weather.
Yeah.
But I mean,
and the corporatization of the country and everything, and
so it's a very tough line, and I think for the most part they land it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great job, Ronnie.
No one wants to ask my initial thoughts? Okay, that's all right. Thanks, guys.
I thought you announced it. All
right,
right,
I'll just sit over here and just
So, Ronnie, what are your initial thoughts on the show? I thought I would ask.
Best season yet, and that's saying something because we all absolutely love season 1 and season 2. With this show, we just finished recording Miss Marvel, right? And we talked about small stakes. With this show, the stakes get bigger and bigger every season, and it works every season. That we've seen. So to me, the fact that this probably is my favorite season so far. I can't wait to see where season 4 goes. Like if it's going from, again, season 1, season 2 were great, and for me personally, it's getting better and better and better. So I'm just like blown away as hopefully season 4 goes in that same direction and everything. Everyone in this season has growth. Good guy, bad guy, soup, boy, doesn't matter. Someone has some character arc, growth, and story in this season, which you rarely see especially in this where you have 10 main characters, I would say. Just trying to think off the top of my head. Even for Soldier Boy in this, he has growth, and he's only in it for 3.5, 4 episodes.
He's as an active unfrozen character.
Yes, yeah, and like he has growth in this too, which is crazy. So I just can't wait to get into this.
My fear was that even though they kept getting bigger, I'm like, all right, this bubble's gonna pop at some point, and it doesn't. No. It just gets better.
The only thing that pops is
someone's head
and body. Top half of them. But before we get into all the details, the gory, the good, the bad, we are going to take a quick commercial break.
Today's episode is brought to you by Raise Energy Drinks from Rep Sports. Whether you're trying to crush your afternoon workout or just need a little extra pick-me-up, Raise Energy is just the boost that you're going to need. So if you go to repsports.com and any product that you order, enter the code MISFIT89 at checkout to receive 15% off. Anything that you guys buy from that store helps our network grow, and we fully appreciate everything you guys do. That's MISFIT89 at checkout, repsports.com.
Welcome back. We hope you had a nice little break. We're jumping into things. Again, we're talking about season 3 of The Boys. Starting off, we're going character by character with William Billy Butcher.
What a terrible person he is.
Yeah.
I'm amazed that he found some redemption too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was impressive.
Yeah, so in this, this is him basically in this season trying to kill Homelander. So what's he do? He finds, what's it?
The V-24?
The V-24 that's like temporary superhuman powers and everything. And basically he turns into Homelander, it feels like.
Fun, nice little parallels between the two.
Right?
Are we doing full spoilers?
Yes,
Oh,
we
yeah,
are
full
doing full
word.
spoilers.
Psyched. He doesn't kill Homelander.
No.
Spoiler.
Yeah, right?
I don't think you could.
They almost do.
Yeah, no.
they-
I mean, like from a storytelling perspective, I don't think you could.
I think we said in our last Boys episode that when Homelander dies, the show kind of goes to.
Yeah. Because it really is the Butcher Homelander sort of ideologies conflicting with one another.
It's getting better and better too. Like the one of my favorite scenes is the two of them just sitting in Butcher's apartment and they're just chatting and just the tension. And this show, as much as it is a superhero show and they do have their drag out fights, like the ending fight in the newsroom is fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Even the Hero-gasm fight is fantastic.
Which I gotta say, when I was watching that final fight in the newsroom, I'm like, this is what so many of the DC things should be like in terms of a fight. Because so even Marvel too, I gotta admit, there are so many times when the fights just come down to punch, 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 fight, 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 and like this one had, there were stops, there were comments, there were character development and everything. Like they really know how to choreograph a good fight.
Yeah. But some of the most interesting moments, like when Huey stands up to Homelander, without any powers,
God.
oh my god, like you could cut that tension, and it was just even Homelander was like, okay, all right, little man, look at you. Producer Melanie hates Huey. I think she still hates Huey, and it is
even with his great superpower.
I think Huey has the biggest growth moment in the entire show when he has the choice to use the V-24 again or help Starlight be the hero.
Yes, I agree with you.
And it was such a great moment because like it would have been really easy for him. They could have gone either way and it would have made sense, right?
Yeah.
He could have used it to save her and then like collapse and he's like, I did it for you, not for me. Like they could have done that, but because they do establish that the V-24 does destroy your brain basically. It puts like holes in it or like it gets bad. Butcher had it at least 2 more times than Huey did.
Yeah.
Right? So like Huey wasn't too far behind, so I wouldn't be surprised if they show some sort of lasting effects for him too.
Yeah.
Oh, for Huey? Yeah. Well, because now with the show, again, spoilers, the show ending, Butcher only has anywhere from like a year to 18 months to live.
Yeah.
Which I think we'll see that.
Like, in a world with superpowers?
Yeah, I think we'll see something happen where he has a chance of changing that fate or something like that.
It's definitely going to happen.
But at least it gives a new dimension to Butcher and a new motivation for him because now he has nothing. He feels he has nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Right. Makes him even. And he was like scary and unpredictable to begin with.
Yes.
And now losing Ryan at the end, because that's who we find out. He really wants to kill Homelander. Not so much for his wife anymore, but for Ryan, to keep Ryan safe. And now that Ryan is with Homelander, very Brightburn looking. At the very end.
I got Brightburn. Even though I haven't seen Brightburn, it just I got those feels
those
from
vibes.
that.
Oh yeah,
that creepy smile he drops.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
But it's going to be interesting to see him next season. I'm really excited to because
Yeah.
Billy Butcher's not likable in the comics. He's worse in the comics. Like he is a monster in the comics. But they do add some heart to him in this show, and obviously we find out a little bit more about his brother. Like some of that stuff is rough. When Mindstorm had him.
Yep.
But
It reminded me, better or worse, of Moon Knight with the mom and that sort of trauma and how it affects character decisions later on.
Yeah, but Billy Butcher, solid 5 out of 5 this season.
Yeah. Carl Urban is just an amazing actor.
I'm glad he's finally getting his due.
He doesn't get enough credit. No. Like I was rewatching Thor Ragnarok with him in it, and he even in that he doesn't have a lot of time, but boy, he seals it. Believable. He's understandable, and you also feel for him too.
Yeah. Moving down our list, we kind of touched base on him a little bit before, but we have Huey. I used to like him.
Oh, you don't?
Really?
Whoa.
In this season, he kind of took a step down for me, to be honest. I think the whole V-24 stuff and I'm just trying to be the hero that you need, and she's like, no, and he's like, but yes, I got to be a big boy now.
But isn't that like, don't you see so many relationships where the guy in the relationship wants to be the hero even though he doesn't have the resources to be it?
I can understand. Like, we're all married, for those, not to each other, for those of you guys who weren't sure, but we're all married.
in Utah.
We're all married to very strong females, and it is. And it's funny because as much as my wife is one of the strongest, most independent people in the world, if there's a spider in the house, you better believe I'm expected to be the man of that situation.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
are
for-
you the?
Oh, always. And then I sing the song after I kill a spider. I sing the song "Toss a Coin to Your Witcher," but she hates it. But for Huey to have a female character that is literally a superhero that doesn't, you don't see Starlight ever being weak. She's always strong. The only exception is when obviously the Deep takes advantage of her in the very first episode.
Yeah.
And she's very different than in the comics. In the comics, she's not the star of the comics like she is in this. But to have somebody in your life that is always 100% of the time stronger than you, and then for Huey, he starts off the season at a high.
Yeah.
Like he's got a great job.
Yep.
He's
Working
fighting
for the senator.
He's fighting Supes in what he sees as the right way,
Yeah.
and then his world gets shattered again. Like that's the kind of the story for Huey. And even when A-Train does apologize to him, and A-Train actually means it too.
Yes.
Which is even crazier. Like Huey doesn't know how to respond, so he punches him because he can't figure it out.
I love the scene where he's trying to save Starlight and he grabs her and teleports her, and the both of them are just standing in the driveway naked arguing with one another.
The cameraman had one job and he failed. But anyway.
I could just imagine someone else seeing this argument from a distance of
Yeah.
these two naked people just having a full-blown fight. He is great.
Yeah. He was just too much of a baby in this.
I can understand that.
Because like you said, we are all married to strong women, right? But at the same time, it's like, for me personally, it's like, if Jacqueline's out, or whatever, like, I trust her. I know she could take care of herself. But when I'm there, like, yeah, I'm going to defend you. I'm going to defend your honor, if I have to. But, if I just feel like you got this woman, you say you're okay with the, her being a superhero and you just being a normal guy, like, you can't go up against superheroes. Let her take care of the superheroes. And then, like, if there's, like, a regular Joe that's giving problems, that's when it's like, all right, now I'll step in kind of situation.
But you also know, like, I'm thinking of that moment when he stands up to Homelander, the idea of, if someone says something about your wife, you're going to get in their face.
Yes.
But knowing that you're going to be obliterated if you do get in their face, that's a hard thing
I mean,
to
I would
do.
still do it,
Right.
Because again, it's like defending your girl in this situation, right? Because they're not married. But for me, it'd be defending my wife's honor. I'm gonna go in your face. I don't care.
I think I can
who you are.
I can understand Huey and appreciate him, but I do understand that struggle of like of stepping aside, saying she's got this more than I do because I can't.
Yeah.
Like admitting a personal weakness. Like I know in my marriage, my wife is probably smarter than I am when it comes to like academics and history. And like whenever we get into debates, she's always way more informed than I am. So I'm oftentimes like hesitant to get into debates because I know she's just going to destroy me. But I know she also wants to debate and discuss things too. So it's like, I know she's going to win, but I'm going to do this anyway. And I'll help you out. So I get it.
Yeah. Moving along, we're going to talk about the star of the show, Homelander. See what I did there?
No.
His last name is Star.
Moving on.
Again, in my opinion, he's the star of this season.
He's terrifying. He's one of the few characters that just smiles and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
I was very sad that this past week, I know this is weeks later, but when they announced the Emmy nominations, that he was not on there at all, because I think he's doing some of the best. And I'm someone who is watching Succession, I'm watching Severance, so I'm watching all the top shows that are up for Emmys. And while having watched him, I'm like, he's doing some of the best work on television right now. He is great. That forced smile. Have you ever seen that Amelia Clark photo of her smiling? It's a meme from Game of Thrones, and she's giving this like really condescending smile. Like that's Homelander.
Oh yeah.
He's so smarmy, but he's so complex too.
And it's funny because like we see him behind the scenes, right? We see him in his apartment arguing with himself basically, and we see him getting handies from Nazis. Right? We're gonna be frank
on their
about this.
deathbed.
Yeah. But like we get to see all that. The world sees him as Superman basically, as like this god, and nobody sees this like creepy factor to him that we do. And one of my favorite scenes is when, in the very first episode, I think it is, when they're doing all the interviews of him and he's reading the script. He's like, you know, I was just a guy who fell in love with the wrong woman, blah, blah, blah. And like they show him just constantly towing that company line. I am upset that he never really got his comeuppance from Stan Edgar. Like Stan Edgar loses his job and he's like, you're going to wish that I was still here.
I was sad that he didn't show up more in this season.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Because he was the most powerful character in the show, arguably. And you would think that he would have a contingency for when Victoria Newman drops him, basically.
Yeah.
We also, I feel like there's an episode missing because we also don't see what happens with her daughter.
Yeah.
After she injects her with the permanent V.
Yeah.
And I think that's also going to be the solution for Billy, where they actually inject him with permanent V to kind of counteract the symptoms.
I feel like we're going to see her daughter in this upcoming season. I feel like there's going to be some sort of
might be the son,
like the son and daughter are going at it or something like that in season 4 possibly.
I laughed out loud so much when at the Homelander rally there was people holding signs that said
the Storm Chasers,
Guns, God, and Homelander.
Yeah.
Which reminded me there was a bus. Candace Taylor, she was running for governor in Georgia, and her bus said Jesus, Guns, and Babies.
Yeah,
that was on the side of her bus, which is weird and awkward, but it works for Homelander and his rallies. It was so.
Another cameo though that they didn't really address was when they go to the orphanage, the little kid that teleports. That's Madeline Silva's son.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
From the baby from the first season.
Oh, jeez.
That's how he survived the explosion. He teleported out. He did his teleport super speed thing out of there. They address him by name. Yeah. And I was like, oh, just a throwaway thing? Okay, just a throwaway thing. Huh.
I'm amazed that what's the actor's name that does Homelander?
Anthony
Starr.
I'm amazed that he is able to take what could have been such a two-dimensional character and give him so much complexity.
Just with his eyes and his face.
Oh my God, he's such a great actor.
He really needs to play Eobard Thawne. I know that's like the big fan casting to have him play Eobard Thawne.
1,000%.
But I think he wouldn't want to get stuck in that trope and that stereotype.
Absolutely.
The villain all the time. But final thoughts on Homelander?
Oh, what a villain. What a character. Just so much fun. Like, it's so much fun to watch.
Yeah.
Just always captures you when he's on screen.
Yeah. Moving on to a lighter note, we have Starlight.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, so
such a dad pun.
You're welcome.
I would argue that she's actually no pun intended,
the star.
She's actually the star of the show. She is the one, like the main character that gets things done and is the moral compass of the show. I don't think I think her growth stopped after season 1 though. Like, season 1 was a lot about her taking control and, being thrown into this world where she thought it was what she wanted and then being horribly taken advantage of. And we'll never condone the Deep for what he did. But like that, there was a lot of growth and a lot of character in that first season. And I feel like this season we kind of got, because last season she was basically just a mole. She was the spy the entire time. I feel like this season she was the real, as much as Mother's Milk usually is the moral compass of the group, she was the moral compass of the show.
Oh, yes.
For me anyway.
Yeah. I feel like, and I see you see that so much happen, not only in stories, but in real life too. The person who decides to join the group to make change from within, and then they realize they can't, so they quit the group and then try and affect change from outside. And she does that, when she starts doing her TikToks and everything.
Yeah.
And it wasn't necessarily, I agree with you, it wasn't necessarily growth, but it was that realization of like, if I'm going to be a part of the system, I can't make change, so I got to get out of the system.
Yeah, she went in to change it, and now she's trying to beat the system, by exposing, all the shenanigans that's going on, with Vought Industries and everything like that. She to me is being the most superhero out of all the superheroes that we see.
Agreed.
She's the one that's always trying to do the good thing, no matter the consequence or anything that happens to her. So yeah, I would agree. She is the star of this season.
And she's even the one that inspires Maeve to become a hero again. Because Maeve was like that at the beginning, where she was she still wanted to do good and she wanted to help you. Like the scene on the plane is still gut wrenching to watch because she's just like, no, let's say we could save at least one. We could say, and Homelander's like, I don't want people to know that I messed up. Yeah. But like for Maeve, especially at the end when she does, I thought she was dead. I really did.
I did too.
Yeah,
yes.
me too.
Because she dies in the comics fighting Homelander like that, and she puts up a hell of a fight against Homelander. Like she makes him bleed.
It's basically Wonder Woman against Superman.
It was really good. It was a lot of fun because for Homelander, And you see it when he first fights Soldier Boy. He's not used to getting hurt.
Yeah.
Like, he's never been hurt. And the fact that, like, he's wearing the cover up over his eye, which
that was
I
great.
thought was a great touch, because he can't let people know that something can hurt him.
Yeah.
But to see Maeve actually hold her own and hurt him, but
Yes.
you also do see that he can fight. He does know how to.
Yeah.
Which is even crazier, because in the comics, the Seven, the reason that they're just terrible people and terrible superheroes. Like, they're not even good superheroes. They just, people think that they are.
Yeah.
Like, they mess up missions left and right. Like, basically the plane scene happens more than once.
Yeah.
Where
Oh, yeah.
Homelander bungles up things and they have to kind of make it seem like they didn't.
Yeah.
So the fact that they actually made both of them incredibly capable too, I thought was a nice touch.
Yeah. Back to Starlight real quick. I do like how, we talked about before with Huey in the fight scene at, the studio or whatever, the TV studio, where she, you see like her true powers. Like she could be like, maybe not as strong as Homelander, but go toe to toe with him. So it's going to be, that she's another character that I can't wait to see what growth she has in between, season 3 and season 4. Does she, get stronger during that time and everything? Because obviously in season 4, it's going to be Homelander and his son against the world. Next up we had, A-Train. He was little subplot kind of thing with
really
him
liked
and everything.
his subplot.
Yeah.
I thought that was really good.
A-Train and the Deep are both the perfect examples.
Don't drag the deep into this.
Whoa.
Let's not go that deep. Come on.
I let you speak. You come at me like that.
Actually, you just cut me off.
You literally finished your sentence.
Go ahead.
I liked his subplot. Period.
Go ahead. I'm teasing.
A-Train and the Deep, though, one thing that they do really well with those two is satirizing the celebrity response to real life situations. Like they do, the Deep does the Imagine video,
Yeah.
which was hilarious.
Oh my God, that was awful.
It was so cringy because it was
Yeah.
cringy in real life too when
I
Gal Gadot tried
saw
it.
the real thing.
Like they call out A-Train for like, you're putting on all these like African colors, but you're not doing anything.
Yeah.
So and yes, I'm putting A-Train and the Deep together just in terms of they're both trying to rebrand and they're both doing it for incredibly selfish reasons. The Deep it looks like he's going to get his comeuppance again at the end of this season.
Yeah.
But at least A-Train did have a decent story.
Yeah.
But like at the end of the day, he didn't get forgiveness from his brother.
Yeah.
And I thought that was one of the best scenes where he's like, yo, you still killed someone.
Yeah.
And you're not going to be in my house with my children as a murderer, even if you did the right thing in your world.
Yeah.
And it's a powerful scene. And like, I really do enjoy, as much as I hate A-Train, because he's just not a good person at the end of the, because like, he finally apologizes to Huey. It took 2 years after running through his girlfriend.
Yeah.
And they mentioned Pop Claw too. Like, he put like 42 heroin needles into Pop Claw at once. Like,
Yeah.
he's not a good person. At least now we've seen some growth from him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to see what's going to happen with him next season.
Yeah, I was going to say that I really felt like they humanized A-Train a lot more this season. Like up until this point, he was kind of a plot device and kind of just, he was a little two-dimensional. Like he pushed things forward, but to see him reflect and have conversations with people and not always come to the right conclusions, but at least show that he is thinking and his confession to Huey, an apology and everything was something. For me, the Deep is, I hate the Deep. I hate the Deep so much, but I love to hate the Deep
Yeah.
because he's so douchey. There are so many things about
Octopuses
him.
love him.
Oh,
I want to introduce you to someone. Oh, God.
deep thoughts with the Deep.
Those are the best. Are you
Those are
kidding?
so bad.
I love them. They're so much fun.
Oh, he's so deluded.
Yeah.
And he just keeps trying and doing the wrong things. And it's funny. I like him a lot, but I love to hate him.
I mean, to me, for like going to A-Train real quick, at first, like you said, he was just there to move the Huey story along. In this season, he had his own story. Like, he wasn't used as like, let's just make Huey more likable because of all this stuff with A-Train. This was just more him trying to deal with it. And my favorite thing is when they made the commercial to make fun of Kendall Jenner.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
It was rough.
That to me was probably one of the best parts of this season. It was when they were making fun of her and that stupid Pepsi commercial.
Yeah, that one
she
was
had.
terrible.
I did like that and everything. And then again, this scene with his brother after he kills Blue Hawk and everything. You know, was a good one. You know, he's a character that I feel like at least in this season, he tried to do what he thought was the right thing, but in reality, it's not. And that's the way a lot of things like work nowadays. It's like you're doing this because you think it's the right thing, but in reality, it's like no, like bring attention to it, but do it in the right way. Like you said, like all of a sudden he's like, I'm rebranding, and he's wearing like, you know, like traditional like African type colors and everything like that.
I think
and his brother
says,
calls him out, and he's like, "What's with this?" He's like, "That's not you." You know, like we don't need you.
Have you even been to Africa?
Yeah, like we don't need you to wear those colors. We need you just to, you know, be a voice for us. You're supposed to be a voice because you're a superhero, and you're just on the side playing their game instead of helping us, you know? And then the deep... See,
I love how manipulated he is by his wife.
Oh, yeah.
And then she writes her what's it called? Like In Too Deep?
In Too Deep. Like
yeah. Which we, at least I know on the episode that we did halfway through the season, I said she's got some sort of motive and everything.
We never see it.
We never see it.
No.
And
like I said, I feel like there's an episode missing from this season.
She just seems like she's more of like a celebrity climber. Kind of.
But she's also, she kind of gave me Stan Edgar vibes, where she's behind the scenes and she's manipulating and she's telling the Deep, like, here's what you say, here's what you do, here's how we work it in our favor. Like, I don't think she ever wanted to be a celebrity per se, but I think she enjoys the perks of being with one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought she was going to still be connected to the church or something like
that.
Like a spy or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
No, again,
but
I feel like there's an episode missing. I really do.
Yeah, the Deep was just weird in this season with his fetishes.
Well, I like how at the end of the season, Homelander calls out all three of them.
Yeah.
Because we haven't even talked about Black Noir yet, who, for a character that doesn't talk, we got so much character from him.
About him.
Very big departure from the comics, which we'll talk about. But, you know, like Homelander calls out all of them. Ashley, too. Like crazy Ashley, who's like pulling her hair out and like...
Speaking of, I like, and because we mentioned this the last time about Ashley, I liked her a lot more this season.
She had something.
Yeah,
she had something.
I think what I never liked about her was that she sort of pretended that she had power, but she didn't actually.
But this season,
now
she
actually
to.
does, and so it made more sense for her character. So I actually kind of liked her in that CEO role.
You'll just keep going on with Black Noir.
So for those of you guys who don't know, spoilers for the comics, Black Noir in the comics was a clone of Homelander created to kill and replace him if ever necessary. He's more powerful than Homelander. He's genetically controlled by Vought. And he goes crazy because basically his mission is to kill Homelander one day, but he has to pretend to be his best friend in the meantime.
Yeah.
So eventually he's the one that actually assaults Billy Butcher's wife and does all these terrible things that Homelander supposedly did. Because like Homelander even says, like, I don't know if I did this stuff. Because he's got more of a dissociative identity.
This show does better than what the comics did. Garth Ennis can sometimes go off the deep end with his writing.
With his satire,
like I'm thinking
especially.
of his comic book line Preacher and everything and Transmetropolitan. Like he's good, but yeah, I think they do better. But go back to Black Noir.
I enjoyed that they made him his own character. He has a story. He has a history with Soldier Boy. And when Homelander actually does kill him, it's heart-wrenching.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed Black Noir, and I think again, for a character that doesn't talk, they found a very creative way to tell his story
with the beaver.
Damn it! Sorry. Correction. Warren Ellis does Transmetropolitan. Sorry.
Okay. Moving on. We'll just combine the rest of the boys together. So that's Frenchie, and oh my God. Kamiko. Yeah.
Did really have like that bad of OCD throughout the entire show, or
I gotta go back and look
because like I remember I'm watching it this season. I'm like, I don't remember it being that bad.
I think we didn't see it as much, if I'm remembering correctly.
Like I know he had it.
Like we knew he had it. We saw some stuff, but I think he had his own story in this season. All the other ones, he was like a side character, just like he's there to be there. He's moral compass,
the original moral compass,
and everything. But in this one, they give him like an actual story throughout the whole entire season.
I like him and Starlight better than I like Starlight and Butcher.
Yes,
I think him and and Starlight have such a good. Like it started off very antagonistic, and it's grown and it's developed and it feels natural. When she has to stop him from trying to go after Soldier Boy to help people, great scene.
Oh yeah, 1000%. Yeah, he had some growth in this, and I like to be honest with you, I like the scene where he punches the stepdad in the face.
Yep.
I have to say, I like Kimiko better this season than I've ever liked
Frenchie,
her.
the two of them together.
Kimiko, like, really, like, seeing her dance numbers and her singing, and you get, like, for me, for Kimiko up to this point, she was very one note, and to see her have
she was the gun.
Yeah.
Yep.
She has such depth this season. She has desires. I was a little confused as to, because at first she's overjoyed that she doesn't have her powers anymore, but then she wants them, and I didn't see that change.
I got that when she realized she couldn't protect Frenchie.
Yeah.
Very similar to like the Huey kind of Starlight type mentality, which made it less sense that Starlight helped her. Yeah. But Frenchie does have my favorite line in the entire season.
Missing hero gasm.
No, besides all the jokes about that.
Yeah, we haven't even talked about hero gasm. Come on, go ahead.
The best line that Frenchie does is, "I will not shut my cake hole. My cake hole is open." You don't realize how damaged Frenchie is until this season. Like, you knew he had issues and you knew he had a history, but seeing him as someone who was so broken to the point where he enjoyed being it made everything up until this point make much more sense.
You actually saw his story in this with what's her face,
Little Nina.
Yes,
and that was the case for a lot of the characters that we saw, like the damage that happened in their past that made them who they are.
Yes, yeah. So again, I like you said, Kimiko and Frenchie together. I'm here for it.
Oh, I ship it.
1,000%. You know, to have them together, and you know whichever. Well, now we know it's not going to be a romantic relationship.
I think it still has the potential for it.
Yeah, but she's like, "You're my family now." Yeah. After they kissed.
Yeah, but still, I still see that potential.
Oh yeah, I mean it's still probably there, but I liked how they're not like, you know, they addressed it. They finally addressed it because. You know, you kind of got that feeling in season 2 a little bit and all throughout this, and then they finally address it like, all right, it's done with. We're done with it. You know, let's focus on them kicking ass now.
Speaking of kicking ass, are we going to talk about our new favorite superhero of all time?
We are. I was going there right now.
I knew it.
We had Soldier Boy. We got introduced to Soldier Boy.
Thank God for Soldier Boy. He is the main reason why my wife is watching this, because she's like, she loves Jensen Ackles.
Yeah, so. And I am so happy that they did not kill him.
Did you hear why?
To keep the door open?
No, because Kripke was too afraid of the supernatural fans.
That's fair. That's 10,000%
He said that.
fair.
He's like, I'm too scared as to what they're going to do to me if I kill off Soldier Boy.
I think it's the better idea to have him as a possibility of coming back. Yeah. I loved Soldier Boy. Yes. His look, his mentality, and hearing Jensen Ackles curses after 15 years of Supernatural
I know.
was like the first time was jarring, and then it was just funny.
Yes.
But it's weird because like they made it seem like he was he was purely government propaganda. Like he never threw a punch, but he knew, like he was a very capable soldier. Even like the episode where they're going after Mindstorm, and everybody's like, I think he's just getting paranoid, and then he turns out to be right and actually like take out Mindstorm too, and then like the couple that were under mind control. I really enjoyed it, and it made sense when he finally confronts Homelander, and you're not sure, is he going to be on Homelander's side now that we found out that he's the baby daddy or the donor, I guess in this case. Yeah. But when he recites his own father's life, even with that one scene with him talking about his father, you learn more about Soldier Boy in that one scene. Yeah, and Jensen Ackles nails it, at least for me anyway. And I know we're big fans of Jensen, so
yeah.
We're semi-biased when it comes to
completely
him
biased,
in this.
not semi.
But I agree. To me, perfect casting.
Oh yeah,
yeah, he's awesome.
with him. I mean, I can't think of somebody else to put into that role.
Jared Padalecki.
He's too tall.
Well, supposedly they want to get Jared Padalecki and Jeffrey Dean Morgan on the show at some point too. Yeah. I mean, we didn't even mention that Bobby Singer's in this.
Yes.
And he's called Bobby Singer.
Yeah.
That's Robert Singer.
Robert Singer.
Yeah. Any thoughts on Soldier Boy, Rob?
I'm so glad he's on there. I loved all of the. If you haven't looked at them, go on to YouTube and watch some of the cut stuff that he does.
Fab Five Freddy, tell me everybody's
my gosh,
fly.
He is so. He embodies Soldier Boy. Yeah. I love the beard growth. I love that old school mentality that's just so outdated. When they tell him he has PTSD, and he's like, he makes fun of them for that.
Well, he actually snaps at Huey, and he's like, I don't have shell shock, which was the original term for PTSD before it was understood. They do a great job at literally he is from Vietnam era. He's not a World War II superhero at this point. He's I think they say Vietnam.
Afghani or
no, he was in the Vietnam War. He was in Vietnam.
Because he talks about Viet Cong.
Yeah, when he gets captured in Vietnam. And they do a really good job. Basically, if he was in his 40s and the 70s, he'd be about 90ish now. Like he's
racist grandpa.
He is.
Yes.
But at the same time, he makes some racist comments, but I don't ever get the racist vibe from him.
He's not as much racist as he is misogynistic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those, he's a product of his time.
He is.
You know, like he's not around now where you have to be so like PC and everything. He's from, he grew up in like, let's say like the 50s or whatever.
And his dad is apparently...
Which kind of makes you wonder why Steve Rogers isn't more racist and misogynistic, because it's sort of the same thing.
Yeah.
Can we talk about Herogasm?
Very quickly.
Yeah, that happened.
Holy hell.
Poor MM.
Poor lump sausage.
Yeah, I don't know.
I cannot believe they got away with the things they got away with on this show.
They got away with a lot of stuff. So
they moved the end line so far down the field that I don't know if anyone will ever catch them.
And the best thing about Herogasm was it had a great story.
Yes,
it wasn't just lewd for the sake of being lewd.
Yeah.
Well, that's the show, is that even though the gore and the violence, it has a purpose. It's never, it's extreme, but it serves the story.
This is my favorite jacket. I need a bathroom right now.
So that's going to wrap us up for season 3 of The Boys. Before we go, let's do a Star City rating. Let's start with Paul.
4.5 out of 5. Easy. It's hard. It's very hard not to give this a 5 out of 5 for the season, because just it is that good. But I don't want to give it a 5 out of 5 because then if the next season's better.
Yeah, agreed.
But like this
We'll retro review this.
Yeah, retro review. This show has only gotten better, and I think the general consensus when we did our retro review of the first 2 seasons, I think I said 4.5.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give it a solid 4.5.
Rob?
I will go even slightly higher at 4.75 if that's possible. Because again, I don't want to give it a 5. There were some faults here. Like what's his name, Edgar from the head of Vought. He kind of disappeared.
Yeah.
I felt
some
like there
loose storylines.
Yeah, some loose ends here, and still amazing work. So enjoyable. I'm so glad I got to experience it with someone else finally, and we laughed the whole thing. And there's so many lines we repeat with one another now.
Yeah.
So what a great season. 4.75. Ronnie?
I'm going to agree. Like, to me, a 5, it's almost impossible to get a 5.
Right.
So I don't want to give it a 5. I'm in the same mindset of both of you. Like, this is nearly perfect as you can get. Again, there's things missing here and there or whatever, but obviously that's going to happen no matter what show, movie it may be. But it's near perfect. Nothing I would change or anything like that. We had growth from every character. Everyone had a story, and they were able to fit it all in. So kudos to them over there. Great job. But that's going to wrap us up for today. Don't forget, you can take us on the go with Spotify, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, any of the different listening stations and everything. Also, check out our website, themisfitfaction.com, to get access to all of our content on there. We love you. We can't wait to see you again. I'm Ronnie.
I'm Paul.
And I'm Rob.
And we'll be back in a flash.
See ya.
God, guns, and smorgasbord.